So we are going to be doing day 11 notes today. So day 11 is going to be elimination notes again. So this is just going to be part 2. The difference between these is that we're going to have no common coefficients. So last set of notes, day 10 notes, were a tad bit easier, but it has the exact same step process. So what if there are no common coefficients? So remember, coefficients are the numbers in front of your variables. So like if you have a 2x, your coefficient is 2. So if there's no common coefficients, this means that I have like a 4x and a 7x. They're not the exact same number. So if you have this case, what we're going to do is we are going to multiply one or both equations by some number to create matching / opposite coefficients. So what this is saying is if I pretty much have a 2x and a 4x, well, I want my coefficients to match. So it's going to be easier to multiply the 2 by a 2, right? Because 2 times 2 is 4. So I'd have 4 and 4, but I want opposites. So since this is positive, I need to make this one negative. So I need to multiply by a negative 2, okay? And you guys will see how this is done in the problems. All right, so problem 1. I have x plus 3y equals 6 and 2x minus 7y equals negative 1. Okay, so first thing I need to check for is to see if my variables are lined up. I have my x on top of x, y on top of y, numbers on top of numbers. And now I'm going to choose which one I want to eliminate. So I can see that none of my coefficients match. I have a 1x, a 2x, a 3y, and a negative 7y. Okay, so I'm going to choose which one I think is easier to match. Okay, I think it's going to be easier to match my x's because there's really this understood 1. And I think it's going to be easier to make a 1 a 2 rather than trying to get a 3 and a 7 to match. Okay, so if I want to make this a 2x, what do I need to multiply 1 by? Okay, I need to multiply it by 2. So I multiply my whole thing by 2. Okay, but since this right here, this one down here is a positive 2x, my one above it, or my other one, needs to be a negative 2x. So I'm going to multiply by negative 2. So everything gets multiplied by negative 2. Okay. So over here, my top one is now going to say negative 2x minus 6y equals negative 12. And my bottom one is still, I didn't change it, so it's still 2x minus 7y equals negative 1. Okay? Now that two of them match up and they're opposite, I can just go ahead and add straight down. My x's are going to cancel. Negative 6y plus negative 7y is negative 13y. Negative 12 plus negative 1 is a negative 13. Solve for y, so we divide by negative 13. And that means that y equals positive 1. Okay? But remember, all of these have to have an x and a y. So I need to also find my x. So I have to use one of my originals, remember? Okay? So just pick which one to work with. I'm going to choose to work with the top one because I think it's going to be easier. So I'm going to work with x plus 3y, the original. So x plus 3y equals 6. So I have x plus 3 times 1 equals 6. That 1 came from my y that I solved for. Oops. So this means I have x plus 3 equals 6. Subtract your 3. And x equals positive 3. Okay? So the way we write our final answer, remember it's ordered pair x comma y. My x is 3. And my y is positive 1. And that is your final answer. Again, you guys can check these if you guys want to plug your x's, my 3 back in and my y back in up here. Oops. Back up here. You can plug them in and you should get the same thing for both of them. Okay, on to problem number 2. So I have 9x plus 3y equals 12 and 2x plus y equals 5. All my stuff is lined up, x over x, y over y, number over number. So now I need to choose which one I want to eliminate. Okay, I think it's going to be easier to eliminate the y's because I have a 1y and a 3y. And I know I can make that 1 become a 3 by just multiplying by 3. Okay, so I need to multiply my bottom one by 3, okay? But since this up here is a positive 3, I need to make my 1 on the bottom a negative 3. So I multiply by negative 3 to everything. Okay? So my top one stays the same. So 9x plus 3y equals 12. And now my bottom is going to be negative 6x minus 3y equals negative 15. Okay? Since I have my y's matching and that they're opposite, I can go ahead and add straight down. So 9 minus 6x, or 9 plus negative 6x, is a positive 3x. These cancel. 12 plus negative 15, or 12 minus 15, is a negative 3. Divide by 3. And this leaves me with x equal to negative 1. Okay. I have my x, so I need to find my y. I think it's going to be easier to use this bottom one. Again, it does not matter. You just need to use one of your originals. So 2x plus y equals 5. So I have 2 times negative 1 plus y equals 5. That negative 1 came from my x. So I have negative 2 plus y equals 5. The opposite of subtract is add. So I'm going to add 2 to the right side. And y equals 7. Okay. So my final answer is negative 1, 7. Okay. For 3, I have 3x minus y equals 14. And I also have 5x plus 4y equals 12. My x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, and my numbers are lined up. So I need to choose which one to eliminate. I have an understood one right here, so I think it's going to be easier to eliminate the y's. So I need to make this y up here a 4. So I multiply the whole thing by 4. If we see down here, I have a positive 4, and I already have a negative. So I don't need to multiply by a negative 4 this time because it's already negative. So I just multiply by 4 to all 3. So this is going to give me up top, it's going to change it to 12x minus 4y equal to 56. And my bottom one doesn't change, it's 5x plus 4y equals 12. Okay. I go ahead and add these now. 12x plus 5x is 17x. These cancel. 56 plus 12 is going to give me a 68. Divide by 17. 17 goes into 68 4 times. So x equals 4. Okay. Now I need to solve for y. I'm going to use this top one because I think it's going to be easier. So I have 3x minus y equal 14. So 3 times 4 minus y equal 14. Again, that 4 came from my x that I just solved for. So this is 12 minus y equal 14. Subtract 12 from both sides. So I get negative y equals 2. And then I need to get rid of that negative, so I divide by negative 1, giving me y equals negative 2. Okay, so my final answer is going to be 4, negative 2. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and try 4 on your own. This is a good time to go ahead and pause the video and try these. So once you guys do that, you guys should see that for this problem, you get your final answer to be negative 8, 5. Okay. Okay, so for 5, my x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, and my numbers are lined up. So now I just need to choose which one's going to be easier to eliminate. Again, it doesn't matter which one you choose. I just choose the easiest one in my opinion. So I think it's going to be the y's because I have a negative 1 right there. Okay, so I know that I can multiply this by 3 to get my 3 times 1 gives me a 3. But if you look, I have a negative 3 right here. So I need to make this one positive. And if you guys remember, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3 to all 3 terms. Okay, not just the one you're trying to change. So my top one stays the same, giving me 3x minus 3y equal to negative 3. My bottom one, I'm now going to get negative 6x plus 3y equal to positive 15. Go ahead and add these straight down. So this is going to give me negative 3x. Those will cancel, equals a positive 12. Divide by negative 3. And x equals negative 4. Now we need to go ahead and solve for the y. I'm going to say that this bottom one will be easier. So 2x minus y equals negative 5. So 2 times negative 4 minus y equals negative 5. That negative 4 came from the x we solved for. So negative 8 minus y equals negative 5. Add your 8. So I get negative y equals positive 3. Divide by negative 1. Leaving me with y equals negative 3. Again, you can check all of your answers by plugging them back in. So negative 4, comma, negative 3 is my final answer. Okay, so our last one is 3x plus y equals 2 and 6x plus 2y equals 4. Okay, my x's, y's, and numbers are all lined up. I think it's going to be easier to eliminate the y's because I have an understood 1 right here. Okay. So I know that I need to make that a 2. So I need to go ahead and multiply by 2. And I have a positive down here. So I need to make this one up here negative. So I'm going to multiply by a negative. Okay. So this gives me up top, I now will get negative 6x minus 2y equal negative 4. On the bottom, I get 6x plus 2y, because nothing changed, equals positive 4. Go ahead and add them all the way down. So negative 6x plus 6x, that cancels. Negative 2y plus 2y, that cancels. So you're really just left with 0. And negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Well, 0 always equals 0, just like 1 will always equal 1, 58 will always equal 58, 1,296. Any number is always going to equal itself, okay? So if you ever get something like this, you should know that this is going to be all real solutions. Okay? Some people will write this as negative infinity to infinity, meaning that you hit every single number because it's always going to be true. Okay? And that is all. Okay, so you guys do have a Kahoot that goes along with this for a grade. So please make sure that you guys ask questions if you guys are missing something or you don't understand something all the way. Okay, bye.